I welcome to this video day, which is all about Forex trading basics for beginners. And what I want to look at today is the power of an emergent system in the markets. That's not a trading system. It's a system that we're all part of as humans, and it creates a crowd psychology. So I'll examine how crowd psychology works in the markets to give us high probability trades. Also how subtly it works within individual traders to cause them to lose. And to help me with this, I'm going to be making reference to one of the greatest books ever, in my view, on crowd psychology, Gustav Le Bon's The Crowd. And I also want to go through what I thought was a very clever observation on traders by a guy called Jim Paul in relation to crowd psychology. It's called the illusion delusion model, so we'll be looking at that as well. Before I go through these topics in more detail, I just want to show a quick intro and a quote which is very relevant to what we're going to talk about over some footage that's pretty relevant as well. So here it comes, back in a few moments to discuss. Welcome back after that short clip there. Now, in terms of the clip, we had a flock of starlings, Liverpool football fans singing "You'll Never Walk Alone." What they both got in common, they're engaging in emergent behaviour. If you've ever seen starlings flocking in the sky, it looks like they're just all one. They're very coordinated when they're flying. Now, in terms of starlings, bird next to the next closest bird moves its behaviour, spreads throughout the flock. Then you see that wonderful sight in the sky. Now, of course, humans are more intelligent than starlings, but we engage in emergent behaviour in a similar fashion for the same reason as starlings. We group together because it's a safety thing. Okay, it's helped the species survive. It's a very powerful influence in humans. Now, in terms of obviously that footage, fans singing away, "You'll Never Walk Alone," been in with those fans. As soon as they start singing it, join in automatically, get great feeling you're with the group. I don't even support Liverpool FC, I support Chelsea, but the group just suddenly brings you in, you just suddenly conform to it. I'm sure everyone has had a similar sort of experience, something you wouldn't do unless you were with the crowd, okay? It's a very powerful pull on us. And in terms of crowd psychology, I did a quote from Gustav Le Bon on the way in, and he's written a fantastic book, or wrote a fantastic book. It's probably the greatest book on crowd psychology ever written. It's called The Crowd, a Study of the Popular Mind. He actually wrote it, I think, back in 1873. Yet that book is seen as a masterpiece by everyone from political leaders to psychologists to great traders. Many of the world's great traders will rate that as an essential book to read. For example, traders who really rate it, George Soros, Paul Tudor Jones, Ed Seykota. Why is it so good? Just really explains crowd psychology, how a crowd, although it wasn't written about Forex markets, how trends develop, how trends end, how basically we have such a problem restraining the characteristics within us that bring out the crowd psychology. Now, in terms of Le Bon's view on how a crowd actually forms, you saw it in 3 stages. I just want to summarise the 3 stages and some key points about the crowd from Gustav Le Bon. Then we'll be back to discuss, then we'll start relating all this to Forex trading. Here's a summary, only take about a minute, and then I'll be back to discuss. I'll go back off that short summary there of how Le Bon saw crowd psychology. Now, does that happen in financial markets or the Forex markets? Yes, it does. We think about it, very often see trends, they start to get in motion, they become very newsworthy, okay, or the pair becomes very newsworthy, and the news is stressing why the trend should continue. Traders want to get in on the action, they have the comfort of the news wires on their side, and obviously the trend in motion, it's contagious, they submerge themselves into the crowd, okay, and as the trend evolves, greed takes hold. More and more people join the trend. The news wires just basically reflect back what the crowd believes, and you see it all the time. Big trends accelerate, too far to the upside. Suddenly, in the midst of the news being at its most bullish, you get a big reversal to the downside, and when you've got a downtrend, when the news is most bearish, you get a reversal to the upside. It's just greed and fear. Crowd psychology has pushed the trend too far. Now, that will never change. What Le Bon writes in his book is just as relevant today as it was, well over 100 years ago. And I know I quote this statistic all the time, but it's very relevant, particularly for beginners to keep in mind. 90% of traders always lose money. We have seen huge advances in technology and forecasting over the years. That statistic remains constant. Why? Because the crowd will always succumb to its emotions. Now, as traders, we can take advantage of when a trend goes too far to the upside or downside and look for a reversal, which I'm going to go through some ways that you can do that in a moment. But in terms of crowd psychology, it operates within traders even when you do not have a big move, to overbought or a big move to oversold. They succumb to crowd psychology, and that can even be in a market that is not doing very much at all. This is where I want to go to the illusion-delusion model, which comes from Jim Paul. He adopted it from Le Bon's thinking on crowd psychology. It's featured in his book, I think I said it earlier, What I Learned Losing $1 Million. So I just want to go through the illusion-delusion model and basically how you avoid that as well. Most traders don't avoid it. They're actually part of the crowd without even realizing it, okay? So let me just do a quick summary of the illusion-delusion model. Only take about a minute, then we'll come back and discuss that as well. I'll come back after that short summary of the illusion delusion model. Just going to go through that in a little bit more detail in a moment, but before I do, I just want to talk about trading big emotional price spikes, either up or down, that are driven by the crowd when greed or fear is present. Now, in terms of trading those price spikes, I'm sure regular viewers will know, I'm a big fan of the concept of reversion to the mean. What is reversion to the mean? Basically, it means that the further prices move away from a mean or moving average, the more the odds increase of a return to the moving average. Now, in terms of that as a sound concept, just go and look back on any Forex pair that you like, and what you'll see is any big price spikes, the upside or downside, will fade back a good proportion of the move, or you might even see a trend develop in the other direction. Now, how do you trade reversion to the mean? Well, you can do it purely technically. However, my own view is if you measure the sentiment towards the fundamentals behind the chart, then you will increase your chances of success, in my view, okay? Because you can work out when the sentiment, bullish or bearish, is about to peak, okay? Now, in relation to how you do this, I'm not going to discuss it here because I've done a link to a video beneath this one, which you can click on, which gives our favourite trade setups, including contrary setups that take advantage of reversion to a mean. So you get more details in the video. Now, in terms of the illusion delusion model, I think Jim Paul is totally right. In terms of most traders, they are not comfortable with uncertainty and risk. So what they do when they come in the markets is they seek out the crowd. They want to be with others. They don't want to be alone and responsible for their own decision making. So what they'll do, look in the news, for example, for trades, or consult an expert, take their trade or their view, or they might take a strategy from someone else, a strategy that makes them feel comfortable, let's say pattern predictive trading. The key point is they don't want to be on their own. They want to bond with others. They want to submerge themselves with others. They will seek out contagion. Now, once they've got a trade, they basically are going to be influenced by the emotional cocktail of hope, greed, or fear. When they're in a winning trade and they're making money, they get overconfident, maybe scale up the trade or whatever, they look in the media for suggestion that backs up their opinion. Same when they're in a losing trade. They're basically in the losing trade. They don't want to come out of it. They're looking for suggestion from the media or from other people that their view or opinion might be right. So in terms of greed, the traders getting overconfident, probably gives back all their profit or even more. When they're in a losing trade, losses get out of control. And in terms of this, I think the way around it, obviously, and I think this is what any trader who wants to be successful has to accept, is that you're just trading probability, okay? That is all Forex trading is. Any trade can go wrong, okay? You must have a strategy that you have confidence in, that you know has got an edge, that's just going to lead you to success over the longer term. It can't be someone else's. You've got to research it yourself and make it your own. And if we take the example of reversion to a mean price, obviously that's one of my favourite strategies. I know that I am going to look stupid all the time. Well, not all the time, but a lot of the time, as the market wrong foots me. Crowds might be stupid, so to speak, but they're very powerful. You can't impose your opinion upon them. So basically, you've got to basically employ good money management, got to have faith in your edge, and that'll allow you, to become a successful trader. I think you've got to get very comfortable with risk uncertainty. The only way that's going to occur is if you see Forex as a probability-based market. Also, having a strategy where you're totally confident in the edge. and not be subject to any influence from the crowd. And Jim Paul was saying, monitor yourself for crowd behaviour. Okay, a warning sign, big warning sign, and this is for most losing traders, is when they get a loss. Okay, the loss has got slightly bigger than they want it to be. Okay, they've got their opinion on the market, and then they'll seek out other opinions to agree with them. You're part of the crowd, aren't you, in that instance? So, in terms of forex trading, it is crowd psychology that we're trading. We know crowd psychology is never ever going to change, and I know that I quote that statistic all the time, but that 90% of losers remains constant. It does remain constant because human nature remains constant. Now, in terms of this video, what I want to do now is give some of my favourite quotes from the book The Crowd by Gustave Le Bon. If you read them, you'll see they are as applicable today as they ever were. Okay, so I think I've covered everything I need to. Here are the quotes. I hope you enjoy them, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care. Have a good day.